Hello and welcome to Atypical Stitches Guide to How to Cross Stitch. This is a series that I've been promising to do for several years and just haven't found the time, but with the recent COVID pandemic I've had a lot of people request it, so I've made a little bit of extra time to walk you through the basics. Today I want to talk about how to choose the right cloth for your project and what it's going to decide about your project, because a lot of people email me and they say, oh, your pattern calls for an 18 count, but the only thing at the craft store is 14 count. And that's totally fine. And a lot of people don't know what 18 count and 14 count mean, so I wanted to go over it. The chart that I designed for this tutorial, it's called Don't Make Me Cut You, and it's been on my website for free for quite some time. And it says it's 48 stitches wide and 91 stitches tall. But what does that really mean? I mean, you can say, well, how big are stitches? And that's actually dependent by what cloth you buy. The traditional type of cloth, and what I usually list in my patterns, is 18 count Aida. Now I choose 18 count Aida because it's quite small and you can pack a lot of design into this little square that you might not be able to design in that area. But why is that? Well, the reason that it's called 18 count is that if you lay a ruler on top of the square, you can see that there's 18 of these boxes in 1 inch. So for every 18 stitches that you make on your design, that is 1 inch. Now, when compared with another sample that I have lying around, a 14 count Aida from Pug Life, you can see that that same 1 inch takes up 14 squares on this. And that means that the same 18 stitches is going to take a little bit more. It's going to take 1 inch plus a quarter. So it's 1.25 inches. And so if you look at the two, you can see a vast difference. And that's not the only thing you can cross stitch on. For a rather large piece that I'm using right now, I'm using 25 count linen. And that is, again, the same rules. It's 25 squares per inch. And really the only requirement for a piece of embroidery or a piece of cross stitch is that you use even weave cloth. So there's actually a place here in town that sells very vibrantly colored muslin that I could use for even weave, but it also means you can do a ton of other crafts that have equal spacing in them. Cross stitch charts can be used for knitting, crocheting, perler beads, plastic canvas. You could use it for beadwork, like on a bracelet. Anything that is evenly spaced across. You could even quilt with a cross stitch chart. So realistically, the only thing you're looking for is what the count of your pattern is to figure out how big that is. So for our Don't Make Me Cut You item, that's going to be 48 divided by 18, which is 3 inches wide, and it's going to be 91 divided by 18, which is 5.5 inches tall. So when you're looking at a design and you're trying to figure out how much cloth you're going to need, that's how you determine it. You take the number of stitches that you need divided by the count of your fabric, and you're going to figure out the overall dimensions of the piece. So for our second tutorial, the next video, we're going to talk about what needles to use and what sizes, because not only do needles come in a variety of sizes, they also come in a variety of usages. And I want to make sure that you get started off right. But for now, that's all you need to know about what cloth to use for your cross stitch.